Welcome to the sovereign path. There comes a point after transformation that nobody prepares you for. The crisis ends, the awakening settles, the fire burns out, and suddenly nothing is chasing you anymore. No collapse forcing change, no pain demanding movement, no tower falling to justify starting over. Just life. The sovereign path reading is not about what must end. It asks something far more confronting. Now that you see clearly, how will you live? Sovereignty is not freedom from responsibility. It is the willingness to choose your life repeatedly without chaos to push you forward. Today's reading explores where you are being asked to stabilize, to build, and to become trustworthy with the clarity you've already received. Because awakening changes your vision, but sovereignty changes your behaviors. Let's look at what your life is asking you to maintain now. What is the current energetic state of my viewer? We have Thanatos, and the kiss. So now Thanatos is about death and what must end, new beginnings, transformation, resurrection. I'm pulling up the book to read from there what these cards describe. Thanatos, death. It is tempting to oversimplify death and sum it up as transformation, but the true archetypal resonance of Thanatos cannot be easily assimilated or contained. Death is ongoing and omnipresent, an eternal response to the gift of birth. Witnessing the ending of another being, creature, phase, or stage has deep consequences for the psyche. We are forever changed by Thanatos as it sweeps us under its wings, making us relinquish control in every form. It leaves a mark of ash upon our heart, signifying we have touched the cusp of the underworld and will return to the land of the living eventually, with more compassion and wisdom to share. This capacity is needed in our world. One who has faced the annihilation of Thanatos can face anything. When this card appears, it signifies the initiation into the underworld. And the kiss, the touch, the chemistry. Before the first kiss, the air is electrified. Each breath is alive with possibility and magic. What will their lips be like? Their tongue? Do they want me in return? The archetypal energy of the kiss is a heightened sensation of merging with another, of letting in what was moments ago separate, to become one. It is risky but beautiful business. These moments forever change us as we move past the solitary self towards union and acceptance. This card suggests true intimacy is around the corner, which requires bravery and surrender. When the kiss takes a non-human form, it may be experienced as touching the sacred, hearing a whisper, or being graced by a divine being. You will recognize the presence of the kiss by cold chills and awakening of the heart. So to me, these two cards coming out together are really representative of perspectives around connection with others, what intimacy is, what being in union is. Thanatos appears quite often when there is an old identity that is ending. The kiss represents where new connections, where there is a sacred union forming, and kind of the excitement and allure of that beginning. But what I see is the transition from one phase into another, from being polarized and fragmented within yourself to being unified. This may be about other people, especially given world events. There is a great deal of the ending of old traditions, norms, the tribalistic views of the past, and coming into more of a collaborative, unified, advanced perspective of the future. This may represent, especially in areas where what occurred yesterday in the world, this is March 1st of 2026, this may be an opportunity to come together with others around you in order to process and reflect and recreate from the ashes of what fell yesterday. Where is my viewer being asked to choose consistency instead of transformation? Oftentimes when we leave old identities, old paradigms, traditions, order, old ways of being, there comes a moment where we create more opportunities and openness to connect with others, to find that inner union expressed outwardly through union with those around us. So this may be about romance, where you have transitioned from these old paradigms, ideals, values, and beliefs into a more harmonious state that allows you to enter into a relationship that isn't like what you have built in the past. Where's my viewer being asked to choose consistency over transformation? And all the way underneath me, completion, the ending of a cycle. You have reached a significant milestone, celebrating the end of a cycle and the start of a new one. Reflect on your achievements and embrace the limitless possibilities ahead. Completion brings fulfillment and endless potential. This is communicating to me that you have ended a cycle, you have ended a stage, a perspective or perception on the world as you knew it. Your world, the greater world, has come to an end, and you are being asked to hold on to those changes that you have made, those habits, routines, behaviors, thought patterns. Hold on to those and allow them to carry you forward into what is coming next. Sorry, I'm adjusting the microphone. What responsibility is my viewer avoiding by waiting for certainty? Waiting for certainty is often still seeking that validation from something outside of ourselves. The responsibility you are avoiding is in the areas of your own illumination. Clarity and joy are breaking through, lighting your path with vitality. Embrace the warmth of this moment and let your inner light shine. Success and happiness are within reach. Step forward with confidence and gratitude. So shine your light. Where are you still hiding yourself from the world? Muting your opinions, your perspectives, the wisdom that you have gained from this transformation. You did a lot of work in this area. You experienced a lot of change and growth and adaptation. You have skills from that in how you have shed these old identities, these old paradigms and beliefs. You have skills that the collective needs right now, as many others have been thrust into this without the preparation that you have. So the responsibility that you are avoiding by waiting for certainty is not shining your light so that others can see and you can come into this union. If you are still hiding and shrieking, waiting for external validation and clarity, how will those that are meant to be drawn to your light find you? What part of my viewer's life now requires stewardship rather than healing? Legacy. A time of abundance and fulfillment has arrived. Celebrate the stability and connections you've built. This is the foundation of your lasting legacy. Bringing joy to future generations. So this is your encouragement from spirit, from your internal source, from the spark of the divine within you, to continue with what you have built, with what you have transferred and transformed in order to build your legacy. Don't avoid shining, because this is what is going to build for you in your life. I had another thought run through my head that distracted me halfway through that last sentence, so I was trying to get it back. But again, I want to point out, if you're not shining, if you're not speaking your truth, if you're not giving the world an opportunity to see you, how can you really create the world that you want to live in? So where will that legacy come from if you don't steward it? Another card came out with that one for your stewardship over healing, and that is transition. You are moving away from difficulties towards a calmer phase of life. This journey may require letting go, but it promises healing and peace. Trust the process as you navigate this transition. There is a lot of self-trust in here. This ending, this completion cycle that you've come through may have rocked you to your core. And you're just now getting to a point where you trust yourself to handle it, mostly because of what you've seen yourself endure and survive and overcome. So this is asking you to continue to trust yourself as you are transitioning from what was into what is coming. To transition from the hiding, from our addictions to familiar suffering, transitioning from these griefs of versions of life that never happened and this fear of being seen, into a phase where you are stewarding your legacy through this transition. So keep your eye on how you see the world around you being. What value do you want to experience in your life? And steward that. And move away from any energies that aren't supportive of the vision that you have for your future in the world that you want to live in. And that can only be done by shining. And so if you are in this legacy building transitioning stage, this may also represent collaboration coming in the form of business partnerships, work partnerships, but it also may be a romantic partner that is going to come in and support you as you are growing and developing in this. But continue to steward those energies forward that are carrying you towards your legacy. You've left the storm. You're entering into a time of abundance and insight and clarity. So continue to steward those energies. Continue to set those boundaries where you need them, in order to prevent these past perspectives, beliefs, limitations from carrying with you into the future that you are building. Where is my viewer recreating instability because peace feels unfamiliar? This is where I view the residue of fear still lingering in our lives. Generosity. A balance of giving and receiving is key. Share your resources generously, knowing they will return in abundance. Acts of kindness create harmony and strengthen connections. So this calls into my attention betrayal trauma, where we oftentimes are much better at giving than we are at receiving because we weren't given to when we were younger. Many of us come from survival paradigms where the resources were thin, the pressures were high, and so we got told no a lot, right? Like one of the most common things that I heard growing up was want in one hand and shite in the other and see which fills first. And the money doesn't grow on trees, which never made sense to me because where do we get paper from? But these were the messages that I received. We were told to be generous, but then to not ask of others, to not seek the support of others. So there were a lot of messages really around receiving that blocked the receiving. So where you're creating instability, maybe because you are giving, but you are not allowing yourself to be open to receive as much as you can be. Right? There's an expectation that it will not be returned, and this comes from our betrayals. So cast aside those fears around betrayal and trust yourself, because you have done the work to get yourself here. So you can trust yourself to handle, even if someone doesn't respond accordingly. You know how to set the boundaries and you know how to walk away from those energies now. So you don't have to have the fear around receiving or giving. So balance those energies. Be open to receive and rest in the knowing that you will. For the effort you put out, you will receive accordingly. This is usually the moment people expect another breakthrough, another sign, another confirmation, another dramatic shift. But look carefully at what these cards are showing. Nothing here is collapsing. Nothing here needs rescuing. What appears instead is responsibility. You already know what works. You already know what harms you. You already recognize the patterns. The question is no longer, what should I do? The question is, will you live like you know? Sovereignty often feels quiet because it removes excuses. There's no villain, no cosmic test, no waiting for timing, just decisions. And this is where many people unconsciously recreate instability, not because they want suffering, but because chaos feels familiar. Stability can feel unnatural when survival has been home for a long time. So this turning point asks you to notice. Are you waiting for transformation or avoiding maintenance? Because the life you want now depends less on revelation and more on repetition. So what daily choice does my viewer need to demonstrate to prove to themselves that they trust themselves? Repeated actions teach our psyche to believe in itself. And I asked about choices, and choices was the card that came out. Opportunities abound, but not all are as they appear. Take the time to assess your options and choose with clarity. Trust your intuition to guide you toward what aligns with your truth. Avoid distractions that cloud your vision. And so this is practicing that self-trust. Do not balk from making the choices you need to make out of fear of how others will respond or receive you. This card is indicating to me that there are choices being avoided still out of fear of the ending or the betrayal. So do not hesitate at those choices. They are the opportunity to demonstrate self-trust, self-governance, authorship, agency, and that is what you are moving towards. So give generously and be open to receive, knowing that with each of those choices, you have all of the capability you need to respond with clarity. And when interacting with others, because clarity came up and choices came up, when you are interacting with others, remember that authentic leadership will offer clarity. Whereas a leadership dynamic that is predatory and bent on consuming those around them will lead to more ambiguity and confusion. And always within yourself, find those moments of silence to pause, get away from the doom scrolling and the dopamine hits, and pause and allow the knowing within you to rise. Clarity always speaks with certainty within us. Our higher self speaks with certainty within us. It knows what it came here to do. Sometimes we just have to learn to be comfortable in the noise and know how to find the clarity within us to hear that inner knowing. The phrasing within us that doesn't speak from doubt or criticism, but with calm certainty. What single action will serve as sign and symbol to my viewer that they have accomplished these challenging things of self-trust, shepherding, and are on their sovereign path? How will they know they remain on their sovereign path after they make these choices? Vices. There will be a reduction in your vices. You will find that they plague you less. Whether we admit it or not, we all have or have had habits that did not serve our greater good. Use that knowledge to become a better version of you. So you will find that you have more of a resistance to it. You will be able to use what you have learned about yourself to overcome even your own vices. You will find they don't have a hold on you like they used to. This is letting go more of just addiction to suffering. To substances. It is our addiction to familiar forms of suffering that we overcome. And you will find that that pulls on you much, much less. And you have the ability to walk away from it without the guilt and the shame and the betrayal fears that it used to bring up. So that will be the sign that you are remaining on your path, is that resiliency towards your own shortcomings. All we really need to do when it comes to our vices, even if we're not at a point of ending them yet, the most important thing that we can do when it comes to our vices is not lie to ourselves about what they are. And that in itself creates a great deal of freedom, so that when the time arises where you do have the courage and the strength to face them, your inner knowing has already named the demon. And naming the demon loses its hold. What internal or external support is available to my viewer at this time? So you have the catalyst. Mars is conjunct Venus right now, which is catalyzing a lot of energies, especially related to relationships and our attachments. So radical changes and taking control. You have everything you need. You are the catalyst and the archer. We are the arrow and the bow that set it upon the world. So this is biding your time and planning ahead. So understanding that your choices are the catalyst. So take aim at your values, your guiding principles, what your vision for your future looks like, and aim at it. Take those concrete steps, those calculated risks towards them. You have the sun within you. You have all the intuition and insight that you need. This is an inner union. The more I see the Kiss card coming up here, there aren't cards about romance on here. These are the cards of someone who has balanced their nervous system. Your parasympathetic nervous system, which is all about rest, digest, and eliminate, is in balance with your sympathetic nervous system, which is about drive and momentum. You have balanced your giving and your receiving. Maintain that. Aim at that. And that will be the catalyst that you need in your life to be the change that you must be in the world. What message does my viewer's higher self send back to them? To close this reading, what message does their higher self send back to them now and want them to know? The all-encompassing hand. If I pick a rose without you, it becomes a thorn in my hand. If I am the thorn, I become the rose in your hand. The divine has held your hand for so long, it fills your sacred flesh as its own. The love that seals that divine hand fast is so powerful that one could spin the universe upon its axis, and still your hands would be joined, gently and enduringly. Be reassured of blessings forthcoming in unwavering love and sublime friendship. That is what the kiss is about. It is internal union. You are in line with your internal source, your higher self, spirit, however you want to name it. That is what the kiss is. You have found that inner union. You are aligned with your legacy, your soul's purpose. You are living purposefully in the now, which is all our purpose is. And so now this is asking you to maintain that. Recognize the betrayal trauma when it comes up that causes those fears around generosity and has you believing that you might not have what you need to continue these transitions. And you're well on your way. The sovereign path does not end with certainty. It ends with ownership. You are not standing at a doorway anymore. You are standing inside the life you've been trying to reach. And sovereignty isn't proven in moments of insight. It's proven tomorrow morning, in boundaries held when no one applauds, in routines kept when motivation fades, in choosing peace even when drama would feel more alive. Transformation made you aware. Now consistency makes you powerful. You do not need another rebirth to move you forward. You need trust in your own capacities to sustain what you've already built. Take what resonated, leave what didn't. And remember, the sovereign life isn't found. It is practiced and protected in one aligned decision at a time. Walk forward accordingly. And if you found any value in this reading, please like, share, and comment. I would love to have the opportunity to witness and support you. Until the next time, I send my love.